And now on the Chris Smith Show, the Entertainment Report with Jo Casamento. Thanks to Glenn Hughes, performing Deep Purple live this September and October.
Well, Jo, I hope you like the Gold Coast.
Oh, my goodness, I know. I can't think of a perfect location. What do you think, Stevie?
Tommy Tate, the Lord Mayor of did you see that quote from him last week? Yeah. It would be very appropriate to have a tacky event like that in a tacky town like this. He's the mayor. I
know. Can you believe he said it? They go hand in hand, a tacky industry coming to a tacky city. And it's his city. And then you've got it. That's only on the Goldie could you say something like that and get away with it, right? So, of course, we are talking about the Logies 2018 in the brand new home, and we're going to rename them the Goldies, I think, and confirming the worst-kept secret in showbiz that the Logies are leaving Melbourne. How do you feel about it? You're a Melbourne boy.
Look, I was at the Logies this year. I was unaware, Jo, that the wine and beer I was drinking, that wasn't particularly good, I might tell you, was being paid for by the Victorian taxpayer to the tune of $1 million a year. That did come as a little bit of a surprise.
I know, and when you think about it in those terms, it's sort of no wonder that the Victorian government has withdrawn its support, I guess. I mean, it has been there since 1959, with a few years in Sydney, I do believe. But maybe it's time to hand the baton over, and if the Goldie thinks that it's going to bring tourism to the area, then what can I say? They've got the sporting gold medals next year too, don't they?
They do.
Steal it all.
I was sitting next. I sit next to every Monday night 2 gold Logie winners.
Yes.
And Carrie made the point that the problem with going to the Gold Coast, and she doesn't mind it being there, and everybody who's invited and their network pays for them to go won't mind it being there. It's going to make it much, much, much more expensive because, as you would know, Jo, all of those network stars need hair, makeup.
That's right.
Dresses, and then you've got to have all the camera crews. It's going to cost a fortune to ship all that stuff into the Gold Coast.
The full rigmarole to ship it up. But being a Sydney-based girl, we've always had to go south. So, but it will be interesting because, you know, we did have Carl come out. He has now backflipped, but Carl Stefanovic, of course,
Has he backflipped?
He did. He threatened to boycott. Saying it was disgusting that it was going to be moved. You know, the Logies is like moving, you know, the track driving from Bathurst or, you know, that something along those lines. But he's backflipped now and said he'll happily embrace it. He is a Queenslander boy after all. I don't think
it was pretty ridiculous for a Queenslander to be bagging the fact that it was going to move to Queensland.
I know, it did seem kind of crazy. But yes, your project, they're definitely Gold Logie winning team, aren't they? So you'll all be flying north, I guess.
Got to get Peter Hellier over. Got to get Peter Hellier over the line. I was just a bit annoyed that the commentary around all of this was, that, you know, no one cares about the Logies. I mean, the general public watch it in decreasing numbers, sure enough, on Channel 9, but there's nothing wrong with rewarding fine performances in the television medium, and people forget that within that Logie, those Logie Awards, you've got people who foreign correspondents working for newsrooms. You've got people breaking really important stories on current affairs shows. So, you know, it's not all about, you know, the glitz and the glamour stuff.
No, and you've got a lot of cast and crew being rewarded as well. But not only that, we have so little that we do celebrate as Australians. I think for many years we had that tall poppy syndrome. So I think it's really nice to get down and sort of celebrate what we are and the dagginess that we are. And yes, there are funny moments. And of course, you know, we've had Bert Newton moments and Andrew Denton moments and all those sort of funny things that do make us what we are, you know, kind of a nation of dads in some way, aren't we?
And don't forget how brilliantly Carrie used her Gold Logie acceptance speech to highlight the problems with brain cancer and to raise money for brain cancer research. Without her being at the Logies, that would never have happened.
That's absolutely right. When she put that blue beanie on, it certainly has changed. It's changed lives because the amount of money she's raised for her foundation has gone into so much research. And I've seen some of the statistics. So you're right, it's a platform as well. I mean, we have had others. We had Noni Hazelhurst come out and speak about women in the industry. So, yeah, I think it's something worth celebrating. I think the Gold Coast will give it a nice razzle-dazzle.
I don't know if anyone listening to us will remember, but doing the research, the project team doing the research on the Logie story on Monday night found that twice in the 1960s, and you're far too young to even remember when the 1960s were, Jo.
That's not quite true. I did celebrate a birthday this week.
There was two Logie years that were held on a cruise ship in Sydney Harbour.
That's right. Oh, that's funny. No, I didn't realise that.
How good would that have been?
That would have been hilarious. It must have been a big boat.
It must have been a big boat, but that would have been a hell of a lot of fun. Prince George has gone to school. I thought it was a very poignant photograph taken of Dad dropping him off and Mum not being able to turn up.
I know. It's a bit of a sad day because I think when you give birth, especially to your firstborn child, one of the things you do think about is that first day of school. And poor Catherine is at home with extreme morning sickness as she suffers. Of course, she's pregnant with the third child. I mean, could you get a more picture-perfect pin-up royal family than what we have? But yes, even future kings do have to go to school. And George did it with, as he does. He does everything so photogenically, doesn't he? I mean, have you ever met a cuter kid?
How good looking is George?
I know, he's so cute, and he does everything on cue. He, smiles and smirks and says yes and shakes hands, and he never cries, and he never looks snotty-nosed, does he? Not like normal children.
And they've sent him to Thomas's Battersea School.
Yes.
And I read out the other day about who the famous former students were,
yes.
Alumni there, and I hadn't heard of any of them. So clearly Kate and William would like him to have a bit more of an ordinary upbringing, even though the school is $30,000 a year.
Yeah, it is $30,000 annually, and high-profile students have included, I think the most high-profile was a model, Cara Delevingne, and Florence, and the machine singer, Florence Welch. So
never heard of any of those people.
No, never, exactly. So it surprised traditionalists who had expected him to follow, I think, in his dad and uncle's footsteps to go to the all-boys Weatherby School, which is down the road from Kensington Palace. But the Duchess is always impeccable, isn't she? She is sure to turn heads when she does, turn up at the school gates, and they have promised that they will do the school run themselves. They're very down to earth, aren't they? It's a 40-minute drive, I think, from the family's home in Kensington Palace. And as the boys did that deal with the media, they let them photograph, they let them video, they let the footage of his first day, and now they are hoping that that Prince George's privacy will be protected for the rest of his
I'm
schooling.
sure it will be.
Yeah,
You got a movie for us?
Yes, I do. I saw 2 movies this week, but I'm going to bring you the freakiest.
Mm-hmm.
Have you got a fear of clowns?
When you're a kid, you think the universe revolves around you. You think that you'll always be protected and cared for. Then, one day, you realize that's not true.
Whoa.
Steve, don't know if you remember. Did you watch the Stephen King 80s movie It from the novel? Was that something that you
No, but I know a little.
Your kids?
No, but I know a little bit about this movie. It's got clowns in it.
It does. It's sort of sparked at this colorophobia. It's called, this fear of clowns, and it really was sparked by this novel by Stephen King. I think the idea of a clown behind makeup, not knowing who he is, a freaky sort of carny freak hidden behind all that makeup, hiding and drowned. It's sort of forever turned a generation off, I think, circuses, and it really killed the clown at the party kind of thing, I think. I don't think anyone gets a clown at a party anymore.
No,
because
it's
just
scary.
Freaky. But look, there is enough that is disturbing in this film to reignite the new generation and spark their fear of clowns, let me tell you. Look, it is it's a fun movie. It's good. It's not great, but it does have an old-school approach to scares. And what I found, though, is it's quite a good movie in that it has another element to it. It's a little bit Stand By Me, which I hadn't realised was Stephen King as well. So it's very much a coming-of-age flick, and it's the energy and chemistry between the young cast is exceptional. So it's quite a good film outside of these sort of unflinching horror moments. And does it have you screaming? No. It's more of a constant churn in your stomach, and I'm going to give this one 4 choc tops out of 5, Steve. That's quite good for me.
That's a very high mark.
That's a high mark, 4 choc tops out of 5.
I won't be seeing it, but there will be a big audience who will want to go and see it. Jo, pleasure to catch up, mate. Talk to you. Chris will talk to you next week. Thanks.
No worries.
Jo
Bye.
Casamento, 23 past 2.